right, so week 10 picks. Thursday night game, the Broncos against Raiders, or rather Raiders at Broncos. Um, First off, their sacks are just, I mean, it's crazy. 40 sacks already. I think, okay, I was trying to think that he is like Emmett Smith, but he must have a name starting with E, maybe like Emmanuel. I don't know. I think he holds onto the ball too long. I am worried that Brock Bowers may be able to cut up this Denver defense because they've kind of been they're not the best against tight ends sometimes. But the Denver, fourth quarter, all this that they beat the teams they're supposed to by a lot. And they carved them up pretty easily so far this season, and I expect it to stay the same starting off with them. The second game, Falcons at Colts. This is going to be my upset. The Falcons, I think, are going to upset the Colts. The Colts coming off a really bad game, and I'm still on the Colts. I still think they're a phenomenal team, especially getting Sauce Gardner. But I think the Steelers may have shown a way you can sort of beat them. It's not going to be easy, but I think the Falcons are extremely good defensively. And then I think something that doesn't get talked about enough is how bad the Colts defense can be. And I think they're going to be able to take advantage of that. And I don't believe, because it's international, I'd be pretty surprised if Sauce Gardner, I guess full participation, but man, I'd be surprised if he's able to play in that game. I could be wrong though. I still don't think it'd change my pick. All right, Saints against Panthers. Honestly, I think the Panthers are going to take it. The Saints, honestly, they're a tough outing, but they're not winning. They're getting close games. They're doing what they can with all their players, but they're not winning. Let's be real, they're not winning. And Panthers are a really tough team to play against too, and they are winning those games. So I'm going with the Panthers. Giants against Bears. I think the Bears are gonna just completely dominate the game offensively. I like Jackson Dart. I think he's a good player. Tough loss in Scotabo. I don't think the Giants are gonna be able to keep up with it. I'm pretty disappointed in the Giants defense too for who they have on their team. Their defense is not playing well enough at all. I'm gonna go with Bears. All right, Jaguars at the Texans. I'm going to have to go with the Texans. The Jaguars. Texans missing C.J. Stroud. Davis Mills held up still. But this Texans team was just starting to flow well. And then that injury happens. And then they got to play Jacksonville. And I don't think it's a good recipe for keeping in that groove of things. Buffalo against Miami. I'm going with the Bills. Last week, the Dolphins didn't win that really make or break game for them, and now they're 2-7 going against the Bills. That's just, I don't think it's going to be a good game for them. They're kind of in turmoil. They got the whole problem with Tua and Mike McDaniels. It's just not a good vibes right there in Miami. Ravens at Vikings. I think it's going to be a really close game, maybe more than people think. Maybe they don't think it'll be a blowout or a far apart game because how well they did against the Lions. I think the Vikings have one of the most underrated places to play. And then two, they have a pretty good team still. You look at a lot of players on their team and they're great. But I think the Ravens are really hitting stride. And honestly, they looked against the Dolphins, maybe the best they have all season long, even maybe not better than, maybe whole game better than the Bills, obviously. And then they have no active injuries, which is big because they are healthy, which we've been waiting for. So I'm going Ravens. All right, the Browns at the Jets. I'm going with the Browns. Don't have much to say about this. Browns defense really great. Offense leaves stuff to be said as he froze his helmet. Same, Miles. That's my opinion on the offense too. But the Jets just had a fire sale. They had a great win, but man, they just traded half of their team members away, and half the team wanted to get traded away. So that's just not a good recipe for success. All right, the Patriots at the Buccaneers. I'm going to go with the Patriots here. I think it's their first tough test against a really good team all around. And I think the Buccaneers, I like them, but man, they keep on losing players. We don't know when Godwin will play. We don't know when Bucky Irving will be back. I really like them at the beginning of the season. I think they're kind of falling, trending downwards, especially with all these injuries. I hope they can get healthy. I think it'll be a close game, but I think the Patriots are playing at top level, and I'm going to go with Patriots. All right, Cardinals against Seahawks. I think the Cardinals got a really big boost with Brissett. This is going to be an upset for me again. I think the Cardinals are going to take the game against the Seahawks with Jacoby Brissett. I think they saw a lot of stuff last time they played towards the end of the game that they liked, and there just wasn't enough time to capitalize. I think the Cardinals are going to be able to do a lot better with Brissett starting. He has changed the entire offense since being in, and that's my pick. All right, the Rams and the 49ers. It seems like the 49ers are somehow even more injured than they were when they played the Rams. I'm going to go with when we played the Rams earlier on a Thursday night game, and they got an upset, but it was not easy. They went to overtime. They had to get a couple turnovers in the red zone. I think the Rams are playing at just an all-around one of the best teams in the league, both sides. And I like the 49ers. I think they're going to make the playoffs possibly, but man, I can't see them getting another win over the Rams. I think they're going to split it. And then the Lions against Commanders. Again, not much to say. I think the Commanders still sort of were fighting, and then losing Jaden Daniels for possibly the whole year. It really should be the whole year. They should shut him down. I think it's going to be tough sledding, and I think you got to I just don't think they're going to be in it anymore. I think the Lions are going to really be able to destroy this defense, too. I think the Commanders' defense has not been impressive at all, so I'm going Lions. And then the Steelers at the Chargers. I'm going to go with Steelers. They had a really good win over the Colts. You kind of wondered when their defense would show up. Well, I bet they're going to show up against the Chargers again with how messed up that offensive line is. They haven't been able to get a lot of stuff going on defense. I think they got obviously a step in the right direction against the Colts. I think they just matched up really well, and I think this is a good way to keeping on track, because the Chargers, their offensive line seems like every time they play they lose a key player, and now they have Joe Alt out for the year too, so they're missing two of their starting tackles. And I know they made a trade for Trevor Penning, but he's not Joe Alt. So I'm going with the Steelers. And then the Eagles at the Packers. May have to watch this game on my phone because of the whole thing going on with Disney. I'm going Eagles winning against the Packers. I think losing Tucker Kraft was really bad, obviously, for their team. I think Musgrave can step up in the absence, but not nearly to the level, obviously, Tucker Kraft was offering them. And then I think when it comes to the Eagles, I think they're going to really take advantage of Jordan Love has these games where he plays great, and it's just this one or two things plays where you're just wondering what on earth is he doing, and I don't think you can do that against the Eagles with all the players they have. I believe I need to pull it up. I believe, yeah, they don't have A.J. Brown injured, and they don't have Saquon Barkley injured. Now, those injury reports may change coming up here, But if they stay healthy, they just have an overall all around better team, and they're not dealing with as many injuries, and they're playing since that Giants and Broncos loss, they're playing a lot more consistently. So I'm going with Eagles, and those are my picks for week 10.